we want to find the relative extrema, that's highs and lows of negative x cubed. Now, to start off with, negative x cubed, we want to realize that negative x cubed is going to start at the top and go like this. And the relative extrema are going to be a low point, a minimum, and a high point, a maximum. And in this course, they usually want the x and y value of those extrema. Now, what's nice is we can enter all of these equations into the TI-84 graphing calculator. You want to turn it on, and then you're going to go to y equals, and you want to clear out what you have in there, and then you're going to type it in like it looks. Negative x cubed first you want to make sure you're writing in the correct, you want to be in function mode and degree mode for this course, and that's about it. Let me go back to y equals. So let's see where the buttons are. To get y equals, you'd be in normal mode, would be second mode quit, or second quit to get you to just a blank screen, and then y equals will get you to the y equals screen. Now I'm going to type in my negative x cubed plus 2x squared, so let me zoom out. You have to hit the negative button, not the minus, it won't take the minus. The x button is up here next to alpha, x cubed, I'm going to hit this caret key, and that'll raise it to the third power. You want a right arrow, plus 2x squared, plus 2, you're going to hit the x. Now all you have to do is hit the x squared button, 2x squared plus 4x. Notice I don't have to hit the right arrow, plus 4, and there's the x button, minus 5. Now what's tricky, if you hit graph, that's just the normal window that the calculator gives you. In this case, it's spot on. If it's not, if you can't see all the mins and maxes, you're going to go to window and change these x values, and more importantly, change those y values in order to get that curving motion of the min and max in your graph. So I want to know what the relative extrema are. Here it comes. You're going to hit second, the blue button, calc. And now I'm going to look, in this case, for the minimum first. So I'm going to scroll down the minimum, and now it wants the left bound. So I'm going to scroll, I'm going to hit this like a mouse key. I'm going to arrow left to the left of my minimum. I'm going to hit enter, and now it wants a right bound. So I'm going to arrow right till I'm to the right of that minimum. I'm going to hit enter again. Now for some reason it wants me to guess. I just hit enter again, and it gives me the minimum, negative 0.6667 and negative 0.6481481. Now this is important. So this x value is negative 2/3. I'm going to figure out what this y value is of negative 6.481481. Negative 6.481481. So we can hit second quit on our calculator, and we can override our calculator's memory by typing in negative 6.481. And we're just going to keep repeating that. 481, 481, 481, 481, 481, 481, 481. Notice how I went out of the screen? You have to be really diligent. I'm going to hit enter. So it rounds it. Now I'm going to hit math. When I hit math, it immediately comes up to fraction. That means I'm going to change this to a fraction. So I hit enter, and it says change your answer to a fraction. So I'm going to hit enter again. And there it is, negative 175 over 27. So my answer for part A, the relative minimum point, is going to be a coordinate. And that coordinate is going to be negative 2/3, comma, negative 175 over 27. I want to now know the relative max. That's going to be this high point on the graph. So I'm going to go back to my technology. I'm going to hit graph. And there's my picture. So I'm going to find that high point. So I'm going to hit second, calc. And I want to find the maximum now. So I'm going to scroll down to maximum. Now I'm going to go to the left bound of that maximum. I'm going to get just to the left of that high point. So once I get there, I hit enter. Now I'm going to scroll over to the right side of that maximum. And I'm not going to guess. I'm going to actually let the calculator guess. That is reading 1.999999. That's going to be 2,3 for my max point. 2,3 for my max point. So as a coordinate, the relative max is 2,3. And then it wants me to graph it. So I want to find the one that matches this graph as well as I can. Now, a little trick is to change the window to what this graph is. Notice each of these graphs, the x min is at negative 8, and the x maximum is at 8. The window goes from negative 20 to 20 on the y. So I'm going to hit window, and I'm going to change the window to how they have it, to negative 8 to 8, and negative 20 to 20. And this is just so that my picture will match their drawing exactly. So it can't be A, it can't be B. Notice the graph of B goes below. It looks like it's going to be C. It has to be choice C. Another negative x cubed. So knowing that it's a negative x cubed, I know it can't be a parabola. It can't be an upside down parabola. It's going to be one of these cubic functions. And because the negative comes first, it has to be choice C. It has to be choice C. So I'm just going to copy from that I have a minimum and then a maximum. And they want me to find the relative min, and I want that as a coordinate, and the relative max. They want that as a coordinate. The first coordinate they ask me is for the relative min. So again, I'm going to enter this into the calculator. Let's look at their scale. Notice it's from negative 10 to 100. See how it goes from negative 10 to 10, and then negative 100 to 100. So I'm going to change my window to theirs. Go to y equals, type it in just like it looks. Now I already have negative x cubed sitting in my screen, so I'm going to scroll over and then start deleting that. So notice if I hit the delete button, it won't delete backwards. Oh, it is deleting backwards. I'm going to clear it all out and type it in again. Negative x cubed. So you have to hit the negative, then the x, and then the caret key to get the cube. Right arrow, plus 9x squared, plus 9, the x button's up here, x squared is over here on the left, x squared, minus, not negative, minus 10. And now instead of hitting graph, I'm going to hit window. I'm going to change it to their window, which was negative 10 to 10 for the x values, and then negative 100 to 100 for the y values. Now I'm going to hit graph. It's going to give me a picture just like theirs. And notice it matches just up nicely with choice C, and they want the min first. So to find a min, I'm going to hit second, calc, min, left bound it, enter, right bound it, enter, enter, and now this is a little tricky. This strange looking scientific notation number over here, we have to understand that our calculator is approximating constantly. And that number is times 10, that's what the E stands for, to the negative 7th. So imagine this as negative 0.0000008. So that number there is technically 0. 0, negative 10 is my minimum. I'm now going to find my max. That's what it asked me to find next. It finds the relative max. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to hit second, calc, and this time maximum. So I have to scroll over, I have to right arrow over until I get close to that high point, until I get close to that maximum. Once I get to the left of it, I hit enter, and then I scroll to the right of it, I hit enter again, and then enter again. Again, we're not going to put in our answer 6.0000011. That's technically just 6. 6, 98 is my maximum. 6, 98 is my maximum. And let's be careful here. The minimum value was 0, negative 10. The maximum value was 698. I'm going to go right to the calculator, type this in. I'm going to hit y equals. I'm going to clear that out, and I'm going to type in 1/3. Now to type in 1/3, you're going to hit alpha y equals, and that will give me the fraction button. So it's going to be alpha y equals to give me the fraction button. 1/3, right arrow, x, hit the x button, caret key, hit the caret key button, to the third, right arrow, bring it down, minus 2x squared, minus 2, you have to hit the x, and then the x squared, plus 4x, minus 1. Before I graph it, I want to use their scale from negative 10 to 20, so I'm going to go to window, I'm going to change it from negative 10 to 10, and then to negative 20 to 20. Now I'm going to graph it. Oh, that isn't too swervy. Doesn't look like I have a min or a max. So notice, it cannot be choice A, that is a parabola. It cannot be choice D, that's too curvy. Choice B is kind of curvy, so it can't be choice B. And since my windows match up with their windows, it lines up really nicely. It's going to be choice C. Now this one does not have a max or a min. In order to have a max or a min, you have to get that kicking, curving action. X cubed sometimes just goes up. It sometimes just goes up. It doesn't have any maxes or mins. So for this one, there is no relative maximum, and there is no relative minimum. All right, number 4, I'm going to hit y equals. I'm going to clear out this graph. I'm going to type it in like it looks. Negative 1, not minus 1. Remember, for negative 1, you have to hit the negative 1. Minus, not negative now, x box. That would be the caret key. Alpha y equals to get the fraction in the exponent. 2/3. Down arrow for the 3. Now before I graph, I'm going to do the same window that they give me. And notice their window is 10 wide. Actually 20 by 20, but it starts at negative 10 to 10, negative 10 to 10. So I'm going to change that window to theirs. Negative 10 to 10, and then negative 10 to 10. And now I'm going to graph it. Let me see what my window is. I think I only did it to 1. So I did the y max to 1. I should have did it to 10. And now graph it. And that will give me the same picture that they have. So instantly it cannot be D. It could be C. It cannot be B. And it goes too high to be A. So it has to be choice C. And my maximum I can see right there is actually going to be 0, negative 1. I can see it on the graph, but to make sure, we'll do it on the calculator. There is no relative minimum. So we can choose choice B as a relative max, no relative minimum. Notice it says no relative minimum. And we're going to locate that relative max by hitting second, trace, or calc, and we're going to find the maximum. It lands me right on there, but I want to go a little to the left of that. And then I'll hit enter. And then I'm going to scroll a little to the right of that. I'll hit enter, then I'll hit enter again. And notice this number here, this 1 times 10 to the negative 6, that would be 0.000, 5 zeros and a 1. So basically 0. And then negative 1, and notice it takes it way over here. So that coordinate is going to be 0, negative 1. And I would put that right in this box here, 0, negative 1. 0, negative 1. Number 5 and number 6. Number 5, which graph is decreasing? That's going downhill. Oh, I'm sorry, it says increasing. That's going uphill from negative infinity to 5. From negative infinity to 5. So from negative infinity to about 5, this one's going downhill, so it can't be A. This one's going downhill, it can't be B. This one's going uphill, so it could be C. This one's going uphill, it could be D. So I have a choice between C or D. Then it says it's also going uphill from 9 to infinity. Notice, from 9 to infinity, this one is not going uphill at all. It must be choice D. It also says that it's decreasing from 5 to 9. So on this little interval, from yon to hither, it's going downhill. And that's from 5 to 9, it's going downhill. So that one has to be choice D. Number 6. Now this one says it has a negative derivative. A negative derivative means it's decreasing. So the graph is going to be decreasing from negative infinity to negative 7. So this one is increasing from negative infinity, so it can't be B. This one is increasing from negative infinity to negative 7, so it can't be D. So notice now I have two choices here. It is also decreasing from 4 to 9. So I believe this one is decreasing from about 4 to 9. It's decreasing from negative infinity to about negative 7. So these are decreasing intervals. This one has the decreasing interval to negative 7, but it never decreases again to infinity. So it decreases from negative infinity to negative 7, that's this. 4 to 9, that's this part. And then it has a positive derivative. That means it's going uphill. It's going up from negative 7 to 4, and that matches that description there. This one does also, but it doesn't also have the increasing from 9 to infinity. So it has to be choice A. Number 7, it says it has a positive derivative from negative infinity to negative 2. That means it's increasing from negative infinity to negative 2. So A looks like it could work, B definitely not. It's got a negative derivative, it's decreasing. This one looks like it can work also. It's got a positive derivative. This one has a negative derivative because it's going downhill. So it cannot be B, it cannot be D. Then it says another positive derivative from 3 to infinity. So from 3 to infinity, it looks like it's going up, it's increasing. This one also looks like it's going up, it's increasing. So right now the candidates are still working. Has a negative derivative from negative 2 to 3. So this matches negative derivative. This matches negative derivative from negative 2 to 3. So they both match so far. Then it says the slope at 3 does not exist. This has a smooth curve everywhere. And because it's smooth, the derivative exists everywhere. Okay? It exists everywhere. Because this has a sharp point, it is called a cusp. Because it has that sharp point, the derivative does not exist there. It is non-differentiable. So it will be choice A. All right, number 8 is y equals 5x squared plus 8x minus 8. I immediately know it's an x squared format. So all it's going to have is a minimum. So all I need to do is find that vertex. And I could do that with my Casio if I want, and just mode 5.3 it. I'm going to turn that on and hit mode 5.3. And all I'm doing is looking for the vertex. So I can type in 5 equals, 8 equals, negative 8. And I don't want the x1 and the x2. All I want is that value. So notice it gives me a nice fraction, negative 4/5 and negative 56/5. So on this calculator, in order to get that coordinate, I have to hit y equals, clear that out, and then type it in, 5x squared plus 8x minus 8. Does it give me a picture? No picture, no picture. So I'm just going to go with the window I have and hit graph. I hope it lines up in there somewhere. It doesn't, so I'm a little low here. I need to bring my scale down. So I'm going to hit window and change that down to y min of negative 33. And now it'll bring that vertex into the picture, and I can do my second calc minimum. I have to scroll to the left, and hit enter, and I'm going to scroll to the right, and hit enter again. And instead of guessing, I'm actually just going to let the calculator guess. So that's negative 0.799, or negative 0.8. So that would give me negative 0.8, comma, negative 11.2. Now, our computer, our course wants it as a fraction. So I'm going to hit second, quit, and type in negative 0.8, negative 0.8. And I want to change that to a fraction by hitting math, and then enter, enter. So it's negative 4/5, just like my other calculator said. Negative 4/5. And negative 56/5, and if I decimal that, it's negative 11.2. So that there's negative 4/5. And then I'm going to type in negative 11.2, negative, not minus, 11.2. I hit enter, and then I'm going to hit math, enter, enter, and negative 56/5. So it wants the relative minima. Notice how it asks for a maximum? It doesn't have a maximum, so it can't be A. As for a relative maximum, it doesn't have a maximum, it can't be B. The relative minima are, and that's where we type that in, negative 4/5, comma, negative 56/5.